Sports podcast.
It's exciting. It is finally here. We are in round one of the playoffs, the NBA playoffs. Let's kick off with basketball. So we've had our first full weekend then from the playoffs. I want to hear what's your big story from the weekend that we can dig into to start with?
Big story's got to be the Lakers Timberwolves, man. For all the talk about the Luka Doncic trade, all the talk about LeBron James getting a superstar of a player, someone who can dominate the ball, allow him to rely, solely defensively and even take, some extra rest while he's on the bench. The Lakers flattered to deceive. But we did talk about it, to be fair, with Anthony Edwards. Like the Timberwolves are a very solid team. They
Yeah.
were outmatched in every position. Rudy Gobert was solid. Anthony Edwards, he came out, showed up, and he turned up in a really good way. Also, you have their power forward in, what's his name? He used to play for the Lakers. How can I forget him now? What's their power forward's name?
Randall?
Julius Randle, who had a solid game as well. I mean, looking at the stats, we're talking 16 points from Julius Randle. Aiden McDaniels, what a baller. He's shooting 3 for 3, from 3 as well. So I think, and he was plus minus 27, on the night. Giving 25 points, Anthony Edwards giving 22 points, and Naz Reid, she was shooting lights out, 6 of 9 from 3. He turned up. He had a brilliant game, for Timberwolves, and I think they just played the better game. A really dumb decision from the Lakers coaching staff was putting Luka Doncic on Anthony Edwards defensively. Yeah. Luka, we all know, playing defensively, that's his weak spot. That's not his strength, as a player. And it's like you're putting him on the other team's best player. Just expect to happen. I'm sure the Lakers wouldn't make the same mistake twice, and I fully expect them to still win the series. But I say Anthony Edwards turned up, Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid probably won't continue this in the following games, but overall a very solid game.
I think of all of the playoff games, this might be the tightest tie. Yes. Lakers Timberwolves. Timberwolves now have got 2 at home. Is that right? So Lakers first, and then there's 2 away at losing at home first game of the playoffs with the big acquisition of Doncic, and he's still top scored. Like he got 37 points, but the problem was that no one else was scoring. He couldn't find LeBron. LeBron couldn't be found. I think the Timberwolves are really good at isolating, and their defensive press is amazing. You don't have outlets. You just run out of time on the shot clock, and then they're having to drive into the paint and take 2 points that they're not confident with. And that's why the Lakers didn't hit 100 points. But I also thought that Anthony Edwards was kind of player of the weekend. I thought he was so solid defensively, attacking, controlled the game, looked like a real MVP. And his boulder shoulders as well are incredible. He doesn't even have to hit the weight room. He's just got these naturally round boulders on his shoulders that look incredible in that Timberwolves shirt.
I mean, you got Luka Doncic, guarding you. Anyone could look incredible in incredible shape.
That's true, yeah.
But Anthony Edwards does look baller. He didn't even shoot great. 8 for 22 is not like that's really. It's not. Those aren't great numbers. I think his supporting cast just turned up. Jaden McDaniels, brilliant game from him, and as we said, Naz Reid as well, brilliant game. 31 minutes from the bench, and he's giving you 23 points. I think that's the story of the game. The bench points, was just effectively really solid. From the Timberwolves, while the Lakers, we talk about Austin Reeves being, the best third option in the NBA, but he's only giving you 16 points, 5 of 13. Not great, great shooting night from him either. And the bench, I think you got what? You literally got 8 points. Actually, 8 plus 5 points from the Lakers bench. That's nothing to write home about.
Well, that's not. Yeah, that's obvious why they didn't win the game, but that's not going to win the series. Their bench needs to show up going forward.
Bronny James gave you 3 minutes.
They gave Bronny 3 minutes.
That's when you know it's a blowout. When you got Bronny James playing 3 minutes, playing even a minute in the playoffs, like that's when you know this is a
I didn't think they would. I honestly didn't think they were going to play Bronny. I was really surprised that he got any minutes. There has to be something contractually there. I
Maybe.
am sure. I know. I'm sure.
They do that, man. Oh man.
What do you want me to say? He's good at basketball?
Yes, so he is good at basketball.
Not a liar. I'm not going to lie.
He is solid at basketball, and he deserves a lot, tremendous amount of credit.
Yeah, and he did really well at basketball at high school.
College, I mean, did he even play college?
He did. His stats weren't very good.
He wasn't great. I think he averaged, like, what was it, 2 points or so? It wasn't great either. Don't quote me on that, by the way. But yeah.
All right, let's move on from Bronny James. I feel like for the standard of basketball that we had this weekend, it's not fair to drill down on Bronny James. So you declared yourself as a Nuggets fan last week. Do you want to take 2 minutes and get your Nuggets top out that you don't own?
I sold it. You know what I mean?
See, yeah. See what I mean?
Listen, Russell Westbrook, I would never, ever. Do you know what? What's that saying? Live by Westbrook, die by Westbrook. It was so evident in this game. He drills a three, for them to take the lead, towards the end of the game. And then he gets the ball in an attempt to actually close out the game. Hopefully he doesn't go to overtime. He loses it, and the Nuggets don't actually get a shot. It wasn't a great ball from Jokic anyway, but I still think that whole experience, it's Westbrook in a nutshell. And at the end of the game, he gets the game defining steal, as well. So it's just the Westbrook experience, which, listen, when it works out for you, it's great. When it doesn't, it's what was his career?
I think part of that is because he's heavily involved in the game.
Yeah.
And having a player like that wants to be on ball and involved in the game and doesn't shy away, that's the difference.
Yes.
So yeah, he makes mistakes, but that's because he's putting himself out there constantly. But yeah, a little scrappy still, like a rookie, not like he's in his 20th season.
I mean, but that's the Westbrook experience for you, man. You're a solid player, but I think, even the supporting, I'm saying the supporting cast, but you have Jokic giving 29 points, Aaron Gordon 25, Murray 21. You need that big three to step up, and which they did. If you can get to at least 25 points on average from all three of them, you set yourself up nicely to win. Westbrook 15 points from the bench, Jalen Pickett 2 points, not great. Westbrook giving 15, and the big three are turning up. It's, to me, it's great all round. But my only worry is, you have all of those three giving you production, and Kawhi Leonard giving 22 points and James Harden going for 2. It does worry me slightly that the game was still really close. I think, granted, Zubac, who's improved so much, over this season, he's starting to add a lot of layers to his game. He was solid, giving 21 points, 13 rebounds, and 2 assists. So he was, pretty decent, going into the game. You have to give him his credit as well. But all of the Clippers starting 5 were in double digits. That's a bit. You could look at the flip side and say that's a bit of a worry. If all your starters are double digits and you still lose the game, you just probably need more production from the bench. And you've got Ben Simmons, who had 0 points.
Ben Simmons, Bogdan. I know.
Do you know what I mean? Both giving you 0 points and and playing 13 and 12 minutes respectively. There's not much you can do with that.
I understand Ben Simmons is coming back from injury, but you're right, and I think the narrative is going to emerge more and more now as we go through the playoffs that you need the bench depth,
right.
And that's where we've said about it for the Celtics before. It's not just Peyton Pritchard at all. You've also got Al Horford coming off the bench.
Yeah, incoming.
And then Sam Hauser comes off the bench sinking threes, and Luke Cornett, that is as big a presence as Kristaps Porzingis as well. Yep. So when you can replicate your front five pretty much with a second 3 or 5, it makes a massive difference. And that's what you're seeing probably with the Clippers, is that on paper they've got bench depth, but they don't, because they're rusty and they've not had the minutes. And I think that will be the tail of the tape a little bit as well for teams like the Lakers, is they've got the front 5, but they don't necessarily have it off the bench, which means you're so reliant then, like the Clippers were,
Yeah.
Even I know it went to OT, but Harden played 43 minutes in game one. That's a lot. That's a lot of minutes in those old knees.
Yeah.
The same with Kawhi Leonard as well. 41 minutes. It's a lot of time on the pitch.
Pitch of the court. But yeah, Kawhi Leonard, yeah. Honestly, you need more than 22 from your star player, a quote unquote, should we call him. You need more than 22 points. If James Harden's giving you 32, you need at least 27 from Kawhi Leonard.
When it goes to overtime as well. Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely. Yeah,
He pretty much didn't turn up. So,
yeah.
but yeah, it's going to be a fun series. I think this one actually goes the full seven.
Do you?
Yeah, for sure. I think both teams have enough star power to, really, really go back and forth.
Well, I think Jokic is too big a star for it to go to seven. I think he can carry a game. He didn't carry this game, but I think he'll carry other games. They've got a couple of games at home now,
Yeah.
and I think he can do a couple on his own. So maybe then they take a 3-0, goes back to Clippers,
Mhm.
and it's 3-1. I think Denver take it in 5.
Oof, that's a bold claim. I still think it'll go 7. I say Denver in 7, similar to you in terms of like who actually wins. Denver in 7. And even going back to the old series, I think Lakers in 7. I think both series actually go 7. Like these matchups are very competitive, exciting to watch as well. And I think they both go 7 with the Denver Nuggets coming through.
One of the issues again for the Lakers is they lost at home, so they've now got a couple on the road, and that's very challenging in the playoffs. You expect home wins. Not a great start for them.
Nah, no great start. But talk us through your Celtics, man. Because the word on the street from the ESPN analysts were that the Magic were due to cause an upset, and now the Celtics basically blew them out. I know the box score doesn't tell the whole story, but talk us through that one though.
It doesn't. I said to you earlier, Magic bullied the Celtics, and that scoreline flatters to deceive the Celtics. If it wasn't for Derek White getting 58 or more percent from his 3-pointers, then it's a very different score. You can chop that down 15 points, and if you chop it off by 15 points, then it is a very close scoreline. Chop it down to 88, 86, basically. It's hypothetical, sure. But anyway, Magics have got the number 1 defense in the league, and that is why they were being backed by the analysts. I say, look, they're analysts. They're not they're not data analysts. They're speaking subjectively about what they're seeing. So we know that, but their defense is so good that they don't give the Celtics the time on the ball to distribute, to pass it around, to play their triangles like they pass teams in. They're just running teams in circles the way that they do that. And they weren't able to do it against the Magic. So getting through last night with Magic being so defensively sound and putting plus 100 on them, it flatters to deceive, but it also shows the Celtics they've got other ways that they can win as well. And that's what's important. And we've spoken about depth of bench.
Pritchard,
I said
points.
Pritchard, we spoke about him earlier in the season, and he probably is guaranteed 6th man of the season. He has 200 3-pointers for the year. Wow. He has 200 assists for the year. Absolutely insane numbers for someone off the bench. I think it's the highest of all time. Maybe.
I need to find how
I have to fact check it, but yeah, regular season 203 points off the bench, and they are bench minutes. He's not getting 30 minutes in a game. He's getting teens and 20s in a game.
Fair point.
But his accuracy was phenomenal, and he was up for it last night. So having him off the bench and playing against the Magic's bench, that is a difference maker. You look, did I say? I feel like I said Mavericks, Magics. They only had Banchero scoring last night. Like Wagner scored as well, but really everyone else. Wendell Carter 4. You had Caldwell Pope got 6. Corey Joseph didn't score. Jonathan Isaac got 7. Anthony Black got 3 off the bench. Like irrelevant contributions. So they are going to need to find ways to score against the Celtics, because Celtics defense is okay as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Celtics finding other ways to win is really promising in the playoffs. So they got beat up a little bit by Magic. Their press was very impressive, but Celtics first game, and it was amazing atmosphere.
Oh,
At TD Garden, they
yeah.
built it up brilliantly, and really good showing from the crowd as well.
Yeah. And what's your predictions for the series?
Yeah, I think that was Magic's big play. They now sweep them. That was it. You got everything. I'm serious. You got everything. You got everything. Everything that Magic could throw at them, they did last night.
Banchero gives them 36 points and they still lose. Yeah. I agree with you. I'm just surprised you say that, given you talk about how defensively, the Magic are the best in the NBA, and now you're saying they
Yeah, yeah. I think that was the test last night. Magic beat Celtics 2-1 in the season.
Mm-hmm.
But when it actually mattered in the playoffs, you've now seen what the Celtics are going to do to the best defense in the league. So everyone else had better watch out, because I think Celtics showed it wasn't an impressive performance, and they showed they can win scrappy and get a win as well. It wasn't clinical Celtics. So that's really good. A team's doing well when they can win and play badly.
Yeah, for sure. I agree, man. Like, for me, Celtics sweep them. Like, I think for Celtics, not just the favorites to come out the East. I think they do come out the East. Honestly, I think, like, the NBA is theirs for the taking. The championship is theirs for the taking, that is. And I'm not sure any team can actually stop them in the West, unless the Lakers just, find a way. Honestly, no, because you can't ever count LeBron James out, and now you've got Luka Doncic. I still think they have something special, and as they get more games into the playoffs, I think they will get better, get more of an opportunity to gel together and come through, with a cracker of a game if they do go head to head in the finals. Moving on to the Golden State.
Well, yeah. I'm just going to say, in terms of, let's stay in the Western teams that can do something against the East.
The Warriors.
I was going to say the only name I thought people would be talking about winning by 51 points this weekend was the Thunder against the Grizzlies.
Mate, the OKC. Listen, they actually surprised me, because I knew they're just a better team, in truth. But I actually wasn't expected of them to win by 51 points. But I think that's probably less to do with OKC and more to do with how poor the Grizzlies have been.
They've scraped through. They've playoffs. They've exceeded their potential. So credit to them for making it.
I didn't think
Pardon?
I didn't even think they'll make the playoffs, and they did. So.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they've exceeded expectation. Scottie Pippen Jr. not doing the name any credit at the moment. Early on, he's got time. Ja was all mouth and no game, unfortunately.
Points from your best player, wrap it up. The series is over. And that was as good as it gets. Jaren Jackson, who is he's a two-way player, juggernaut. Come up with 4 points. Offensively, also minus 36. Zach Edey as well, minus 38. Desmond Bain, minus 51. This is horrendous.
When it was 68 points to 36 at the end of the first half, Thunder then just rotated the squad, and that's what you can do.
So imagine the full starters. And
Absolutely.
Was giving you 16 points in the second quarter and 17 points in the fourth quarter. That's the story right there. You start the game off with 20 points in the first quarter, and OKC give you 32, and then you proceed to drop 16 in the second quarter, and OKC even go higher and do 36. The game's over by then. To make matters worse, third quarter they come out and give you 44, and you give them 27, which is an improvement on your side, but. Yeah, I think this isn't a competitive series, man. This goes in 4. I mean, more than
I agree. Yeah, this is a blowout. Yeah, this is a total blowout as well.
And I think, yeah, exactly. They will get swept, and I mean, every game is probably going to be a blowout. I don't expect the Grizzlies to do anything. They even land a punch, in that game, and I don't expect for it to get any better. They're just all talk. They've always been all talk. The one time you expect to back them up. They did fire their manager, I think, even before the playoffs actually started. So, that's the story right there. You get one team that fires their coach, and then they get blown up by 50 plus, and you get the Denver who fired their coach as well before the playoffs, and then they win the first game. So, is it really the player? Is it really the coach, or is it really just the players or the team constructed.
Well, this is a lovely segue
Yeah.
to the NBA Cup coach, Doc Rivers. He's got his trophy. I don't know how much he can get out of this Bucks. I mean, he's got the side, but they don't have the coach. But Indy were impressive this weekend. I thought this was gonna be a tie that was gonna be much closer. Indy winning by was it 19? Yeah, they won 17-98. So yeah, they won by 19, and it could have been more. Indy looked incredible. Siakam was amazing, as was Halliburton, and they looked up for it as well. Jetic, and as you'd expect, first game of the season series. Crowd as well. Indy looked amazing. I'd like to be there. Get me that yellow Indy t-shirt on, and
So remind me
I could be an Indy fan. Remind you of who?
Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah.
Just
The
that
yellow wall. It was
wall.
very much like the yellow wall. Very much like the yellow wall at Indy.
Slightly darker yellow, but similar vibes anyway. But listen, when you're getting 0 points from two of your starters in Tyron Prince and Cal Kuzma, who was traded for Chris Middleton, I'm sorry, but you've got no chance.
I know. No, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. This is what Indy did so incredibly well. You look at the scores and you see that Giannis got 36 points, and you think he had a good game. He didn't. Usually he gets 10 plus assists, and his fellow starters are getting double figures. He's the only starter that got double figures. He got 1 assist. They shut him down. He had no outlets. The reason why he got 36 is because they said to him, shoot, while you've got the ball, shoot. And that's it.
Literally. But, I mean, listen, when Damian Lillard comes back, once it's Dame time, you know, this will become a more competitive series. I just think, not having Dame there, you don't have your 1B, should I say, 1A.
Attack dog.
Exactly. So I think Dame, definitely brings a lot to this team. He's been missed, and once he gets back, this might get slightly competitive. They still need that third player they can rely on. And Kyle Kuzma is not that. We've seen with the Lakers, he tends to disappear, especially in playoff games. I mean, barring that one time in the bubble where he actually did turn up in a fair few games. But this series is, as of right now, unless Dame comes back, it's going to get wrapped up in 4 as well. Pascal Siakam, solid game from him, giving 25. Halliburton giving you 10. He didn't even play great. 0 from 7 from 3-point line, and he's giving you 10 points. The rest of the team just shot.
But he was busy. Halliburton was so busy, though. His assists probably. I mean, the fact that he got more assists than he got points. He got 12 assists and 10 points. So I think you actually look at that, and that's a minimum of 24 points that he's assisted. So he was busy in that regard. But I also thought that they just score at the right points. They're really good at seizing on momentum, and once it swung in their direction, Bucks couldn't get it back. It was after the third quarter. As soon as the third quarter had ended and they went into the fourth, Pacers just maintained the lead, and whenever Bucks looked like they were getting on a run, Pacers would score again, and it just shut the game out, and Bucks can get on the run. I don't think it will be a sweep, though. I think.
With Dame coming back, what's your prediction?
Well, I think that Giannis, I've said it before, like Giannis can get 50, 60 points in a game. So I think he can carry them for a game. He'll still need to assist, so they need to resolve that, and they'll be obviously studying that over the next 24 hours to see how they do. But I think Giannis carries them for a game, but I see it going to 5, maybe 6.
Yeah, I agree as well.
But I call Indy on that one, definitely.
Yeah, they definitely need a point guard. Obviously with Dame out, you're stuck with Ryan Rollins and Kyle Kuzma having to play the part of distributors, and that's just not their game. Giannis is gonna have to be Superman, and you hope and you pray that Dame comes back at least at 60-70%, even 50% to make this competitive. I didn't expect that to be the case, just given how basketball is. You need to have rhythm games, you need to play games, just rhythm back. And for me, I just don't see how they come back. So I probably will go, but Giannis is just too good of a player, so I'll probably go Pacers in 7.
In 7?
Yeah, in 7. I think it goes 7 games.
Oh, I thought you said they'd sweep it.
Oh, no. I think with Dame coming back, it's still going to be a competitive game.
Interesting.
Actually, I take that back. A Pacers in 5.
Okay.
Giannis he was still a game or two.
Yeah, I
You go
think so.
5 or
Yeah,
6.
that's what I think. Yeah. When you got a world class player like that, that can happen. Speaking of world class players, Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler
Oof.
doing Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler things.
It's interesting. Jimmy Butler said he'll gladly be Steph Curry's Robin, and I actually disagree. I think they're both Batman. Just in terms of how they play, because like playoff Butler is no slouch. Like this guy turns up in the playoffs. He took the
Yeah.
Miami Heat.
No, I know. This is game 1. This is game 1.
So he's a player you can rely on for sure. He was plus 14. Steph Curry plus 3. Like Jimmy Butler, defensively, offensively, he will give you buckets and he will defend the best player as well. So for me, it's an exciting series. I don't like this matchup for the Rockets purely because of the experience. I know Fred VanVleet, he's won the championship before, but like looking at that team, they lack players with that.
They do. Yeah. They don't have a figurehead.
Uh,
They don't have that world class player
no,
that can just win a game on their own.
that
Like
just a solid team.
the Warriors have got with a couple of players,
Yeah.
which the Celtics have got with Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. Like you can look across the league, and that's the same for most. Obviously, you've got Jokic, that's a one-man team, and Bucks have got Giannis, that's a one-man
It's just a
team.
one-man team, but yeah, you got Aaron
Hmm?
Gordon and Jamal Murray. They're solid players.
Like,
If
yeah.
those players don't turn up, they don't win the championship. You can't be a one-man team and win the NBA championship. But I digress. Go on.
So yeah, I think this is a bad matchup for the Rockets. I think this goes a long way, though. I think the Rockets have been good all year, but they're good in one-off games. I don't know that they can win a series against
Yeah.
the Warriors. I think it goes to 7, though. This is one of the ones I think goes to 7.
If this series goes to 7, then Ime Udoka he's an excellent coach, but he'll have to be put up there. If this series goes to 7 games, I think that's testament to what an amazing coach he is. There was talk about Amen Thompson being the Steph Curry stopper. I'm thinking like Steph Curry, he's been there, done that. He's faced double teams, triple teams, and make a bold claim, a disrespectful claim to say Amen Thompson, knows how to stop Steph Curry, which
I
was
mean, say it after game 3. If the
exactly.
Rockets are 2 or 3 up, fine.
You say that before the playoff starts, and of course,
Risk.
and that's the result. Like he literally baptized them. He showed them that there's levels to this, which there is. Dylan Brooks giving you 11 points, so it's like you're getting 26 from Alperen Sengun. I can't pronounce his name correctly. If I butchered that, my apologies to our viewers. Van Vliet's giving you 10 points, and Jalen Green, who should be your franchise player, is giving you 7. So what are you gonna do with that? I'm sorry, but like that goes nowhere. Do you know what I mean? And surprisingly, Jonathan doesn't even play for the Warriors. He didn't play a single minute. I think he actually gets traded, in the off season. Yeah, I think he's had enough. And excuse me, I think what's his name? Their manager Steve Kerr has seen enough, and he's just not convinced by him. So for me, I just think he probably gets traded in the season. But the rest of the players turned up. Brandon turned up as well. Steph Curry, solid as always. Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green. He wouldn't give you production on the points area, but defensively, he's a juggernaut. I think the series goes 6 games max with the Warriors, coming on top.
A game that we don't have to talk about. It was first seed versus 8th seed, and they looked like the first seed versus the 8th seed. Heat was a joke. What's the point? That's done in 4. Enough said about the Cavs Heat. What's the point? Why are they even playing it? I wouldn't go and watch. I'm not watching that.
Sweep. They get swept.
What a low standard of basketball. And again, the Miami Heat, like the Grizzlies, like who's going to be worse this playoffs, I think.
You have to give Heat some credit. They finished 10th.
For what?
You need
Yeah.
Finished 10th. They're the first 10th. The first team seeded 10th to actually make the playoffs. So which says that maybe the play-in does work. But then again, you get a poor matchup like that. I expect the Cavs to sweep them. Like enough said that the Heat got lucky even making it through. Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero just Like you need quality stars to be able to go up against the Cavs. We have a solid player in Donovan Mitchell, and yeah, this game is just not going to go anywhere other than a sweep, which is Cavs in 4. And
Yeah,
then
agreed.
last game,
You've got all our predictions down then? Have we got another game? What's the other game?
the Knicks, New York, God,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like that is Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball. Do you know what I mean? So like solid win for the Knicks. Pistons were actually pretty good in this game. I think it was like they
Yeah.
went on a mad run, to close out the game. 21 run in the fourth quarter, which essentially won the game for them. So this goes 7 games if you ask me. This series goes 7 games. I think the Knicks will need the Madison Square Garden fans to actually pull them through this series, and hopefully they do. But I just don't see how the Pistons can win this one when it actually comes down to it. When it's all said and done, I just feel like the Knicks just have the better team. We're talking Cat, we're talking Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart. Like, these are key role players. And we can't forget Anunoby as well. Another solid player. So, like, realistically, this shouldn't be close, but Pistons, man, they're bringing the bad boy Pistons back. The old school, hard grit and defense. They're bringing that team back, and I think it's going to be an exciting series. Not the same, and I fully expect this to go seven games. But with the Knicks coming out on top.
I hope it's exciting. On paper, third seed versus sixth, the Pistons will have been. It could be. My concern is that the Knicks are just better in all departments. Scoring and defense. The defense wasn't great, to be honest, the other day. But I don't know if that was the best that we're going to get from the Pistons, though.
Probably not, to be fair.
I think,
they've got more to give. Just got more to give. Defensively, they just weren't solid. In the fourth quarter, they played a solid 3 quarters, and then they just caved. Like, you're giving up 40 points in the fourth quarter. You're always going to struggle with that. And I just think the Knicks, they probably got lucky. They rode the momentum with the fans as well, and that definitely played a key part. And they stole the game. So I think they stole.
I think Pistons were lucky not to drop down into the play-in tournament. They didn't end the regular season on good form, and I think that's kind of carried over a little bit. They didn't look particularly sharp. No, they scored 112 points. It was a very open and it was a fast game. Sometimes those score lines flatter the teams because it's just they're not playing down the shot clock. They're just constant shots. And it's a fast-paced game, which is what it was, which is the way that the Knicks like to play. And it's very hard to keep up with them. And that might have been what it was that you were talking about there, Femi, is the fourth quarter, Knicks just blew them out because of fitness. And the Knicks are a fit team. Like, they go end to end, north to south court. And the defense, they score. They don't really defend, but they'll score. They'll just score more than you. Like, that's a good way to play. It's an exciting way to play. We'll just score more than you.
Facts. It makes the game. He blows the game out loud. Out wild.
Yeah, I think Pistons take a game maybe, but done in 5. Are you right? Are you writing all this down?
I'm hoping when you go back in.
Okay, because you got a pen. You said, let me get a pen. So I assumed when you said, let me get a pen.
Talking, and then we started rolling through.
You were doing a bracket. So I'm calling. I didn't say, but I'm calling the Timberwolves. You're obviously backing the Lakers.
Yes.
Okay.
Lakers.
Obviously, Thunder, Celtic, Cavs, we're confirmed.
What's
do you want me to give the exacts?
Yeah.
Okay, so I go Pistons will take 1, but it'll be the Knicks. So done in 5.
Okay, so Knicks, Pistons. So you're saying 4-1.
Yeah.
Pistons. And I'm saying 4-3 Knicks.
Wow. Timberwolves.
What's your score?
Same again. 4-1.
4-1?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm saying 4-2.
To the Lakers.
4-2 to the Lakers, yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't not say Lakers wearing a Lakers shirt.
Oh.
Yeah, OKC, sweep. Celtics, sweep. Cavs, sweep.
Celtics, Magic. I think we are definitely both in the same. OKC, 4-0 OKC as well. Clippers, Nuggets, exciting one. I say Nuggets in 7.
I agree. Yeah, Nuggets in 7. Pacers, Bucks, I think that it will be 6, and it will be Pacers.
Okay, 4-2.
So Bucks take a couple, or Giannis takes a couple.
And I say 4-2 Bucks as well.
You
Cavs.
called the Bucks, not Pacers.
Oh, sorry, Pacers.
Sorry, I thought you said 4 to Bucks as well.
Yeah, I did. It's actually Pacers. Cavs, Heat. Sweet.
Yeah, sweet.
And final one, Rockets, Warriors.
So tough to call. And I'm glad that we've got a series that is so tough to call.
I'm going to go 4-3 Rockets. 4-3 Warriors.
I'm the same. Yeah, I think experience wins out, but I think Houston will come back.
There we go. And that is
our man on the ground in Houston tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Oi. Pumped up and excited for that, man. Let's get it. NBA action officially in, and we're ready to go, baby.
That's a wrap.
It's a solid episode. Really, really good episode. I like that.